Well, good evening, everyone. So for the last 6 months, I have served as the head of Zendo, or Shuso. And the Shuso has responsibility for overseeing everything that happens in the Zendo and making sure that things run smoothly, and if there's anything needed, that it's provided for Zazen periods, services, Dharma talks, and everything we do here. It's been a very eye-opening experience for me. A really broadening of my view of what it takes to operate, the Zendo, and to put on all of the offerings that our little Sangha puts on. It's also been a very connecting experience for me. It's a relational role for me, because I've been able to become familiar with all of the positions that need to be fulfilled in the Zendo, and many of you who fill those roles week after week. Including housekeepers who vacuum the Zendo and dust it and make it all tidy and fresh every week. The altar keepers, or chidans, who come in before or after each offering to trim the candles and clean out the incense bowl and set out new incense and dust off the altar here and throughout the altars throughout the Zen Center. And the flower keepers, who every week bring forth these beautiful bouquets that are on this altar and throughout the Zen Center. The gardeners to keep the back gardens looking so beautiful for when we go walking Kinhin out there. It's such a pleasure to be there. The greeters, who welcome everyone and orient new visitors and secure the doors during the services, so we're safe. The Tuesday evening Dharma discussion leaders, who facilitate participants in expressing their understanding and enabling everyone in those discussions to learn from one another. And the Zoomdo heads, who set up the Zoom and turn on the TV and make sure the people that are not able to be with us here are still able to participate. Hi, everybody. And the people who maintain the dedication lists, the list of those who are ill or in distress or who have recently died. It's an ongoing need. The Makugyo players, who set and keep the pace for many of our chants, and the chant leaders, who keep the time, ring the bells, lead the services and read the dedications, and the Tenzos, who provide cookies for after the services. All of these roles, they're more than volunteer roles. Okay? These are practice roles. These are roles in which people are able to put into practice their vows, their intentions, and their insights, putting that into action in service to the Sangha, and therefore in service to the world. All of these positions and roles are also training positions, in which members take on responsibility, and they become very intimate with it, and they learn exactly what needs to be done in that particular role. And after a while, usually they move on to a different role and learn what's needed for this other function that must be fulfilled in the Zen Center to keep things running smoothly and well. And this continues, and eventually many people have taken on a number of different roles and are trained to be able to take care of anything and everyone that's needed. Ours isn't a large Sangha, but the dedicated service and practice of all of these people filling these roles enables us to produce an impressive number of offerings every day of the week, and sometimes a number of offerings per day. In support of our Bodhisattva vows to liberate all beings, including ourselves. Many thanks to all of you for your practice in maintaining the Zendo and the Zen Center. Serving as Shuso has given me new appreciation for Thich Nhat Hanh's teaching that Maitreya Buddha, the Buddha of future births, is the Sangha. It takes all of us. So on to the koan. There's a book called The Garden of Flowers and Weeds, written by Matthew Jukson Sullivan, which is a translation with new commentary of something called the Blue Cliff Record, which was compiled about 900 years ago in China, a collection of Chan Buddhist koans. And I selected the 44th case to work with and talk about. It's called Heishan Beats the Drum. Heishan raised the words, study is like listening. Cutting off study is like approaching. Going beyond study and cutting off study is really going beyond. A monk stepped forward and asked, "What is really going beyond?" Heishan said, "Knowing how to beat the drum." Again, the monk asked, "What is the ultimate truth?" Heishan said, "Knowing how to beat the drum." Again, the monk asked, "Mind is Buddha. This is not what I'm asking about. What is beyond mind and what is not mind and not Buddha?" Heishan said, "Knowing how to beat the drum." Again, the monk asked, "What comes when the sage arrives?" Heishan said, "Knowing how to beat the drum." So, it starts with Heishan raising the words. He's a teacher, and he's in the Dharma hall, and he's giving a Dharma talk, a brief Dharma talk. And that setting, not all koan take place in the Dharma hall. They can be anywhere in the monastery or out in the world. But this one was in the Dharma hall, and in Zendo. And so that's one of the things that drew me to this particular koan, because all the action takes place in the Zendo, just like this. He said, cultivating study is called listening. Study is one of the so-called 3 legs of Zen practice, along with zazen and the precepts. The Tuesday evening Dharma discussions and the Dao Ren study sessions that happen seasonally are 2 examples of study. Zen Buddhists produce a great number of books you can see in our library, and I'm sure many of you read Zen books regularly. This is study as part of our practice. Is it called study because it's what others say? Is it called listening because it's what others say? Cutting off study is called approaching. Zazen practice includes letting go of words and ideas. To approach the moment, this moment, directly, right now, right here. What is being approached? Going beyond these 2 is really going beyond. In my experience, going beyond study and cutting off study, beyond listening and approaching, it's somewhat possible in my daily practice and in my weekly participation in the Sangha offerings. But it's much more possible in sesshin. In sesshin, it's possible to go beyond more, go beyond thoughts and emotional habits. We have a few sesshin scheduled coming up the rest of the year. And I'd really encourage you all to consider participating in sesshin this fall, and in general, adding sesshin to your practice on a regular basis in order to, open up to more than what's possible in your daily practice and your weekly attendance here. But what is this really going beyond? What is this? Beyond study and cutting off study, beyond listening and approaching. For me, this going beyond echoes the Prajnaparamita Sutra. Gate, gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhi svaha. Many of you have chanted that. One translation of that is beyond, beyond, far beyond, very far beyond. Wisdom, so be it. And also the universal dedications, wisdom beyond wisdom. We chant that often. And also from our meal chant. Like a lotus in muddy water, the mind is pure and goes beyond. And the Heart Sutra says, far beyond all inverted views, one realizes nirvana. So what is this beyond? What do you think that is? What do you feel that is? What do you experience beyond? A monk came forward and asked, what is really going beyond? So he wanted to know that too. He was curious about that. And he comes forward and he asks the teacher publicly, in the Dharma hall. Not privately in Sanzen like we do here. This is our tradition. We sometimes have teachers say are open to questions, but normally that doesn't happen for us. But asking questions of the speaker is part of the Shuso Hosen ritual. So this is another thing that drew me to this particular case, because it's a similar context to this one right here. Heishan said, knowing how to beat the drum. What is Heishan really pointing to? I wonder. It's a curious, sort of quizzical, sort of poetic response to this sincere monk's question. So sitting zazen, awareness deeply concentrated and silencing the mind, holding a wide view like we do in zazen. What is beating the drums in then? When we're sitting in zazen, what's beating the drum? What is that? Or off the cushion, when we're attending closely to just whatever's right in front of us that needs to be attended to. What is beating the drum then? What is beating the drum? Who is beating the drum? In time with what? Is it the heartbeat? Is it the breath that's beating the drum? In time with the bells? The mukugyo? The chants? The bows? In time with the traffic, the birds? Crickets? Again, the monk asked, what is the ultimate truth? The monk apparently didn't see how knowing how to beat the drum is really going beyond. So he asks this in a different way. What is the ultimate truth? Does he think it can be expressed in words? Maybe he hopes it can be expressed in words. Is he studying Heishan's words? Is he still listening? Heishan said, knowing how to beat the drum. He's not going to explain. He generously offers that really going beyond and the ultimate truth are both knowing how to beat the drum. And knowing how to beat the drum are both of those. Is he hoping that the monk will cut off studying his words and move to approaching it directly? But again, the monk asks, mind is Buddha. I'm not talking about this. What is not mind and not Buddha? So the monk doesn't seem to be cutting off the study of Hanshin's words. He tries different words and concepts to express this burning question that he has. He stood right up in front of all of his colleagues and his comrades and is persistently asking this question in a different way. And Heishan said, knowing how to beat the drum. Is Heishan a one-trick pony? Yeah, like the ancestor who just taught attention, attention, attention. Or the ancestor who just held up one finger. That was his teaching. Offering compassionate teaching and hoping that it'll land. Hoping it will be turning words. And again the monk asked, what comes when the sage arrives? The monk is so persistent, so determined, so willing to keep asking, to stand up in front of everyone and keep questioning. Keep not understanding. And keep going. Keep on going. Even though he doesn't understand. Koan practices like this. You just keep going and asking in different ways, looking at different aspects, and having it be part of your life, moment by moment. What is knowing how to beat the drum right now? The monk repeatedly expresses his doubt by continuing to ask in different ways. His doubt about his lack of understanding, really wanting to know. And there's a saying, small doubt, small awakening. Great doubt, great awakening. So this monk seems to be onto something. What comes when the sage arrives? And Heishan replied, knowing how to beat the drum. The monk didn't question him a fifth time. Did he give up? Or did he get it? Did Heishan's words make a turning for him? Koans often end with the questioner being greatly awakened, but not this one. The case is called Heishan beats the drum. It's not called Heishan talks about beating the drum or Heishan talks about the drum. Why didn't the monk just ask him how to beat the drum? He didn't. Beating a drum is a repetitive activity. And does Heishan's repeated answer to the questions demonstrate beating the drum? Is his repetition beating the drum? Does really going beyond include repetition? Does repetition come when the sage arrives? Or does the sage arrive when repetition comes? Suzuki Roshi taught about Zen practice involving doing it over and over and over again. Is that beating the drum? What is it? What is it? Is the drum beating right now?
Okay. Thank you. Now we're going to move into the questioning portion of our program. So we'd like to invite everybody to ask a question. And we'll start with our current Shuso asking the first question. Or, you ready?
Oh, no.
And you begin by saying, Shuso, here.
I'm saying Shuso here. To our Shuso. To our
Yeah.
Shuso.
Yeah.
Shuso here. I guess I'm wondering about how you experience learning to beat the drum when you're not here. And you're not here, you have a regular practice of not being here. And is, going to the coast or, with Cannon Beach. And is there something there that keeps you learning to beat the drum? Or knowing the drum? Or,
Seeing impermanence.
Does that satisfy?
I feel like I should ask the same question again, but I use too many words and I don't remember it well. But I'm not entirely satisfied, but
Please say more.
I want to, please say more. Thank you. That's what I wanted to say. Yes.
Seeing the continuous emergence of life. Seeing the continuous dissolution of all things. And aligning with that.
Thank you.
And the formal way that we do this during your Shuso Hosen is thank you for your answer.
Thank you for your answers.
Shuso here. Several times in the past, you have mentioned that this is a body practice. And it seems recently for me, I'm noticing reactions in my body to certain things that I may or may not be able to relate to. And several times you have mentioned in the Song of the Grass Roofed Hermitage, the last line, which is, Do not separate from the skin bag here and now. Would you please expand on this?
A drum has got a skin. A skin bag can be a drum. If we don't separate it from it, our moment after moment awareness is beating that drum. That drum of our body, our mind, our body mind. Not thinking, but beating heart, repeating breath, sensations of comfort and discomfort, on and on. Keeping time with this skin bag here and now.
Thank you for your answer.
Shuso, here. Was there a moment during your Shuso duties that especially exemplified beating that drum?
So morning services, there is a drum that's used. That drum right there is used to keep time with the song of loving kindness. And it's used every morning in the service. And, you know, early morning, there's a few dedicated souls who show up to greet the day with fresh morning. And we close out with beating the drum for the song of loving kindness.
Thank you for your answer.
Shuso here. Could you give us an example of a time when we're not beating the drum?
Cultivating study, involved in words and concepts.
Thank you for your answer.
So here, do you think if the monk asked directly, how do you beat the drum, would he have been told anything different?
Yeah, I think he would have been. I think Heishan would have spoken directly to that question, because it's not an intellectual question, it's a practical question. Beating the drum is a practical activity, concrete activity. It's not an idea about truth or about sagacity.
Thank you for your answer.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to say that when you talk, I appreciate you have an interesting gaze that travels around the room. And it flows very nicely. And when you were speaking about the drum, a car went by with some bass.
No, I couldn't hear it, but I think you were expressing an appreciation. And that's what we're gonna do afterwards. First, we're gonna ask questions, and then we're gonna have a time for everybody to express their appreciation.
Oh, okay. Well, there was my appreciation earlier. Thank you.
So here. You mentioned that beating the drum is repetitive, and that the answers about the drum are repetitive. And I'm wanting to push on that or understand that better. Is there really repetition? Is that possible?
Well, perfect repetition is not possible because conditions continually change. So me to say knowing how to beat the drum now is different from me saying knowing how to beat the drum now. So repetition in that sense is not possible, but we repeatedly breathe. Our heart repeatedly beats. We repeatedly sit down and hold still and practice. And it's an essential, that repetition is an essential part of our way.
Thank you for your answer.
Shuso here. What is it meant that mind is Buddha?
Mind is our complete life. Mind is not just what's inside our head with thoughts. Mind is our being, our whole world. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe. Our whole life is Buddha.
Is that not going beyond?
Beyond what? It's our whole life. Our mind is the whole world, our whole life. Everything.
We can ask the second one.
She's not done yet.
She's not done yet.
Oh, excuse me.
The mind beats the drum.
Or does the drum beat the mind? Or does the mind beat the mind?
Or does the drum beat the drum? Thank you for your answer.
Hold on the second question, because there are a number of people who haven't asked one. But whoever's ready.
Don't be shy.
Shuso here. Is the drum motion?
What was the question?
Is the drum motion?
Is the drum time, space, mass, motion, light, birth, death, sound, color? What is the drum?
I do not know. Thank you for your answer.
Thank you for your answer.
Shuso here. Maybe you're misremembering the quote, but if the drum is outside of mind, outside of Buddha, would it exist forevermore?
The drum is not outside of mind or outside of Buddha. And it exists now, 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 now.
Thank you for your answer.
Shuso here. Was the monk learning how to beat the drum by repeatedly asking questions?
He was beating his own drum, whether he knew it or not. He was keeping time with the teaching of Heishan in his own way. He didn't let go.
Thank you for your answer.
Shuso here. Have you ever had an experience where you repeatedly asked questions, kept getting the same answer, and didn't get it for a while?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Please say more.
You know, I repeatedly asked, why am I doing Zazen? Why am I doing this practice? Why am I doing it again? And the answer was always, because I have to.
Thank you for your answer.
Shuso here. What is the sound of the drum right now?
there it is.
Shuso here. Does beating the drum take a lot of effort and concentration?
It does. It takes just enough effort to have enough concentration to beat the drum, to hear the drum, to know the drum. But no more effort than that.
Your answer?
Shuso here. Before you started the call, we were talking about the roles and the various parts of the Zendo.
Can you speak a little louder?
Yeah, and you mentioned the library. And I'm wondering if you have a favorite book in the library.
I didn't mention the library.
I feel like you mentioned it.
Oh, okay. Well,
You mentioned all the books that we have, all the Zen
oh, that's
writings.
right.
Maybe you didn't specifically mention
yes,
the library, but
I did mention that Zennies do study a lot of books, and write a lot of books, and read a lot of books, you know, and collect a lot of books. Let's see, do I have a favorite?
a favorite, something that you just think of when I ask you about the Zen books.
Yeah, there's a book by, I think his name is Jim Kim, called The Dogen Zenji, Mystical Realist. And that is one of my favorite books.
Thank you for your answer.
Shuso here. You said earlier that you have to do Zazen. My question is, what's the nature of that obligation? Do you literally mean that you couldn't just choose to lie in your lazy boy instead?
Only after I've had a meal and taking a nap. The nature of that obligation is that, like a monk, I have questions that won't let me go. Questions about life and death, truth and reality. And practice is my way of approaching those vital questions for myself.
To follow up, what is it about the practice of Zazen as opposed to other practices or other, I guess it's a question about why did you end up here as a Zen Buddhist as opposed to other forms of practice? Or
it appeals to me in its directness, its simplicity, and its groundedness in the natural world.
Shuso here. Do you have to cut off study before you can practice Zazen? Or can you study while you're doing Zazen?
If you are studying while you're doing your Zazen, at the same 30 minutes, you're not doing Zazen.
Shuso here. When does one stop beating the drum?
When you die,
Thank you for answering.
She said, here, are you sure?
yes.
Really?
Yes.
Based on?
Based on being with my mother when she died.
Can you say just a little more about that?
I had no sensation, sight, sound, or otherwise of her beating the drum after she died, of her still living after her body died. I had no direct experience of anything other than her dead body.
Thank you for your answer. We have Zenitsu.
Shuso here. Could you just go over your talk again? I wasn't really listening.
Were you beating the drum?
I promise I wasn't beating anything.
Learn how to beat the drum.
Thank you for your answer.
She's still here. I've been thinking as you've been talking and people asking questions, but thinking about the moment of you,
Louder.
thinking about the moment of you being with your mom when she passed. I was also with my dad in the moment that he passed, and trying to formulate my question. Even if we don't have direct, like objective observation of the person, our loved one still being present in their body or in the room or just in space, if like my body has like left the skin bag. Does that mean it's not happening just because we can't observe it?
No, I would say it doesn't mean that it's not happening, just because we can't observe it.
Thank you for your answer.
Did you need to ask your second question?
What if there's times, Shuso here? You spoke to some extent about the different ways we come upon the information about going beyond, different ways that it's expressed. What are we going beyond?
Well, we're going beyond going beyond. going beyond going somewhere else. We're going beyond words and phrases. We're going beyond yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're going beyond me and you.
Thank you for the answer.
Okay. Is there anyone else who has a question before we move on to the congratulations and Mr. Close? So now we can offer congratulations. And let's just go down row by row, very brief congratulations to our used to be Shuso on his Hosen. Would you continue?
Thank you so much, Shuso. As a past Shuso, I know what it's like to sit in that chair. And it was really interesting to listen to your answers. So thank you so much. And thank you for being Shuso. We couldn't be here without you.
Shuso?
Congratulations, and thank you. Yeah, thank you for your talk. And thank you for being such a good role model. I plan to try to live up to it. Thank you.
Congratulations, Sogen, Shuso, Vance. I deeply appreciate everything that you contribute to this temple.
Thank you, Shuso. Although I don't believe we've met until now, I'd like to thank you personally for taking care of a place I think I will come to appreciate.
Thank you, Shuso, for all the drum beating and for such a delightful ceremony.
Thank you, Shuso, for all your efforts here in the Zen Centers, making a welcoming space.
Thank you for your talk and for keeping the Zendo running and trying to herd cats.
Thank you, Sogen, for doing Shuso. It's been really great getting to know you these past 3 years, and I really appreciate everything you do. And thanks for the explanation of the koan in your talk, and it's real interesting. Yeah, koans are something to explore, so thank you.
And
yes, congratulations, and I'm meeting you today. Thank you for the way that you speak. A lot of what was said today was confusing to me, but in the way that you say it, I'm not frustrated or threatened. And even though I felt confused, the way you speak gave me a lot of patience, and I'm less confused by the end of your talk and your question and answering. Thank you.
And thank you for your services. Shuso, what I'm aware too is you, at the beginning of your talk, talked about all of the different roles that people practicing around here to keep this place going. You have served many of those roles, and many that I'm sure I'm not even aware of, for many years, going back long before we had this place here. So thank you for all of your work in making this place be what it is.
I'll echo that. Thank you for your tremendous Shuso, and thank you for all the hard work you put in over the years to this Zen Center and your own practice. It serves as an inspiration to everyone here.
Heidi, you wanna go again?
You can ask a question this time.
Well, I will echo the, I was a little bit confused at the beginning and less at the end, so that's why I didn't really ask a question, because I didn't know what I would, when you're confused, sometimes it's hard to pick an entryway, even with a question. But I think I have an idea of what it means to beat the drum now. I think, maybe. And I do appreciate you. You have an interesting manner. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your practice, and I hope to get to know you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your practice and being Shuso for 6 months, but then, as others have said, all the months and years prior, the effort you've put into putting all this be what it is. Thank you for the presence that you bring whenever you speak. I really appreciate the time that you take with what you say, and in particular with the questions and answers when there was time for you to think of your response. It felt very peaceful, and I like trusted what you were going to say because you took the time to think about it. So thank you.
Thank you for your practice and your service and all you've done and are doing, and for the presence you bring when you speak. That's very, very deep and includes the silences. Definitely appreciate that.
Well, I went to school for playing the drums, so I've beaten a drum once or twice. And I had this master class with the NYU professor of drum set, and he just came up on stage and he just hit his bass drum, just one note at a time. And it was the most amazing sound I'd ever heard. And that's what I kept on thinking about when I was listening to you talk.
We'll go to the Zoom screen. Sept.
Hi, it's hard to hear. Did you call me?
Yeah.
Okay. At 6 o'clock tonight, I had a choice. I could take a pain pill for my back and be in no shape to come to service, or I could come to service and hear your talk. And I made such a good choice. I'm so happy to be here. That was a heart-opening talk that I'm going to carry with me a long time. Thank you so much.
Hosen.
Thank you, Shuso, for
As Sekio said, sound quality has gone away from the Zendo. And Sogen, I appreciate your answers and the manner in which you did so.
Jenny.
Thank you, Shuso. I appreciate all that you brought to the Zendo, and I remember earlier this year you kind of showed some pictures of when the Zendo was being built, and so I appreciate your practice that led you here to helping with that and to getting us where we are today. Thank you.
Shuso, thank you for some very wise answers to some difficult questions and for your talk. I learned a lot from it. I very much enjoyed listening to it. Thank you.
There's one other person showing up on Zoom. I'm not sure if they're there. Michelle.
Michelle, are you there? Blessings on you. Thank you so much for your talk.
Oh, okay, I'm here.
Oh,
Sorry about that. Um, yes, thank you. And I'm brand new, and I was like someone else said, I was kind of confused, but I appreciate not just you, but all of the other people there and all of the comments. And thank you.
I think it's always a mark of a rich talk when you elicit the questions, really genuine questions from the people who have benefited from your talk. So congratulations. Well done.